Okay, everyone, welcome back to Breslov Efrat here at Shira David Baruch Hashem Erev Shabbos Kodesh Parshas Ki Tzetzei. We're getting closer to Rosh Hashanah now, right? We're getting closer. Baruch Hashem. And then we have Ki Savai, and then it's Savim, and then it's Rosh Hashanah. I just, okay. Baruch Hashem. But I hope we're all taking advantage of the month of Elul and getting closer to Hashem, repenting for the mistakes that we did and recognize the good things that we did as well, right? Because we did a lot of good things, Baruch Hashem. Okay, we were discussing in Likutey Halachos. We're learning Likutey Halachos. We're in Hilchos Netilas Yadayim. We are in Halacha Vav. And this is Hilchos Netilas Yadayim L'Suda, okay, for your washing for bread. And we spoke about the significance of bread, making it into a Suda, right? And today we're up to the letter Tzadik Beis. So just to clarify, yesterday we were learning a very interesting concept that there's different aspects of Torah as there are different types of foods, right? Right? And we were saying that the Torah has two aspects of Torah. The Chazal tell us that Torah has an aspect of becoming Chas v'Shalom a Sam Moves. It can be a something detrimental to one's health. It can also be a Sam Chayim. It can be an elixir for life, right? And we said that that's the same way when it comes to foods, right? Sometimes you can eat foods and they're not good for the person, right? So that's compared to the Torah that's bad for the person. When again, what was that? When someone learns Torah with an ulterior motive. He's not learning Torah to get closer to Hashem. He's learning Torah for he has some other idea, right? He's learning Gemara to sharpen his mind because he wants to be a better lawyer or whatever. Or the guy, he has this rabbi, and then every time he wants to be able to disprove what the rabbi has to say. So he has to brush up on his learning so he can always disprove the rabbi. There are people like that, right?
Or maybe go rob a bank to his best visibility.
Well, I don't know. Okay. And then we're talking about learning Torah. We're learning in Torah.
Well, but it's learning Torah for the wrong reason. I mean, you use it for good and for...
Well, Chazal said that even a Ganav has emunah because when he's robbing, he says, Hashem, hey, let this go well. Yeah, all right. Anyway, okay, let's stick with the lesson. Let's stick with the lesson. Okay.
One of the important principle that before about learning Torah, and also this week about all the other mitzvot. So, for example, if the person doesn't have the right intention when he learns Torah, Torah doesn't change him.
No worse. It can become a Sam Moves for him.
So it doesn't give him a positive.
No, it doesn't.
Influence.
No, it doesn't help him. No.
Same thing as with all the other mitzvot. Rav was saying, if someone lives in Eretz Israel and he doesn't appreciate it, the fact that he lives in Eretz Israel, it doesn't give him ashpah.
Right, he doesn't get it, but he still does get a mitzvah for Yishuv. But he still does get a mitzvah for Yishuv Aretz. Yeah. And every time he walks Dalet Amos, he does get a mitzvah. Of course, he's not doing it to its full potential.
Right.
No, but here we're saying the guy. But it's a little bit different than that. Here we're saying there's a type of person that learns Torah. He learns it for his bet. He has his reason. He has his reason why. So he's not learning it for Torah. The guy, I don't know if you could use the example. The guy's living in Eretz Yisrael, or he's wearing his tefillin. He's not thinking about his tefillin, but he's still wearing them.
Still wearing them, but it doesn't give him as
of course, but it won't harm him.
Yeah.
But it won't harm him. It won't harm the person living in Eretz Yisrael, not appreciating. That won't harm him. It's a little bit different.
Get it.
A person who's going to university and doing a doctorate in Talmud.
And he's doing what?
A doctorate in Talmud.
Oh, Talmud. Yeah, right. So that's not. Okay.
Okay. It doesn't make him a better person.
No, it won't. No, it won't help him. It won't help. Right. Okay. Wait. Then we said that there are other things that you can eat that are good for the person, right? But they're only good for that time. And we extended that to when it comes to Limud Torah, you could learn a Gemara, you can learn a Mishnah, you can learn a Halacha. So that'll give you chiyas for that time while you're learning it. But it won't necessarily give you any motivation going forward. Now, And then we said, but then you can eat bread, and bread is what will sustain the person all through the day, correct? When you eat bread, the person will have energy, he'll be able to be sustained. So too, if you learn Torah, that's motivational. If you're learning Torah, that's inspirational, that'll give you motivation and inspiration through the entire day. Okay, and that's why like we learn Likutey Halachos in the morning, which I think is wonderful, because this is something that's inspirational and motivational, and this keeps us going through the day. Now, I was talking to Yossi yesterday, but he said, "Is that really the way it works?" And I said, "Yes, it does." And I came up with this. This is what we did. Now, I remember when I was in yeshiva, right? When I was in yeshiva years ago, okay. First thing in the morning, what we did was we had a Mussar Seder. Right? Mussar, right? You learn Mussar, right? Learn Mussar. And that's the first thing you do in the morning. Mussar, and what Sefer was we were learning? We're learning Sefer Mesilas Yesharim. Who wrote Sefer Mesilas Yesharim? The Ramchal. It's all full of Sisrei Torah. The Sefer is all full of Sisrei Torah. It's all full of the secrets of Torah. It's inside there. Inside the Ramchal's writing. So it's in the program without them realizing why it's in the program.
Musar is a literature word for Hasidus.
Hasidus, yeah. Yeah, no, I'll tell you something really cute. You know, I had one of my nephews bar mitzvahs years ago. We went to whatever we had. We were at the hall or whatever. Okay, so I took along with me at the time an Nesiva Shalom. I took along a Nesiva Shalom. Whatever, I was teaching at the time at the young kids, whatever. So I took along, I was preparing my thing. So I took along my Nesiva Shalom. I was sitting at the table, and everyone was, and then one guy comes over to me and he says to me, "Wow, that's a great Mussar Sefer." He said to me, "That's a great Mussar Sefer." I said, "You know something? It really is a great Mussar Sefer. It really is. Keep learning it." Now, Nesiva Shalom was written by the Slonim Rebbe. Right? Okay, it's based on Hasidus. Okay, but again, it's accepted in the world, and we know from the Baal Shem HaKadosh, when he went up to Shemayim, he asked Mashiach, when are you going to be able to come? He said, "Sheyafutzu ma'inasecha yafutzu." When your teachings will be spread out in the world, that's when I'll be able to come. Okay, so we see that now that the teachings are being spread. And it's okay. But basically, what was the point? So in other words, if you eat your bread in the morning, right? Your bread is compared to the Sisrei Torah. The bread is compared to motivation. That's why we're supposed to eat the bread in the morning, and that's why we're supposed to learn something inspirational, motivational in the morning. And I'm showing it to you on both sides, whether you're going on the Litvish side or you're going on the. They're doing. If you're in Torah, if you're in the Torah program, you're going to be connected to it, whether they realize it or not, okay? In the same way, like we said, when it comes to Rosh Hashanah, right? So we travel to Tzaddikim. In the Litvish world, they travel to their Rosh Hashiva, right? They'll go out of their way to go out and leave their home to be by their Rosh Hashiva. They do the same thing. It's the same idea. It works through the same way. Okay, now we're going to learn something very interesting today. Like I said, I was there just to clarify what we learned yesterday, just to remind. Okay, now today we're going to move on to in Tzadik Beis, and we're going to learn this idea now when it comes to a zimun, right? When it comes to 3 people eating, do 3 people have to eat bread? Do 2 people have to eat bread? Do 1 person has to eat bread? How does it work, right? In other words, when we for example, at a minyan, and when we have a minyan, okay, and you have 6 people that didn't pray, right? 6 people that didn't pray. Let's say a chakras, a mincha, whatever it was. You have 6 Jews that did not pray that prayer, right? So whatever it is. So now you can get 4 other people that did pray that same prayer, and they can join in and make the minyan. You need at least 6 people that pray. All right, we need at least 6. But then we're going to see now when it comes to the what do you call it, zimun. As for 10, you're really supposed to have 7 people that ate bread, and they said, so why do you need more people? Why do you need more people for the zimun than you do for a minyan? And the answer to that is, what does it cost you more if someone eats? Do you mind if someone else was able to eat? All right, okay, whatever. Okay, if you got it, okay, fine. Okay. I heard that from Rav Rosenfeld on one of Rav Rosenfeld's tapes. That was a word from Rav Rosenfeld. Zeichet Tzadik L'Zrach. Okay, he said that. Does it going to harm you if another Jew eats? Beautiful.
Matter of fact, if you're
All right, let's see. Let's see what Rav Nosson says now. It's Tzadik Beis. Val came Mevoya b'Shulchan Aruch, and therefore it says in Shulchan Aruch in Kuf Tzadik Vov, She'le'inyan Seiruf L'Ziman. When it comes to this idea to join people, to make that group that can say Rabbi Say Nevarech, Rabbi Say Mevel and Benchen, you need to have 3 people, right? How do you make that group? She'metztaref afilu ayedei achilas peris ha'macholim. Right? You can join people together, right? You can join people together even if they ate peros or machol or other things, right? Va'afilu hacholkim bazeh ziman sholosh avol beziman asara hakol moedin shemitztarfim laidei kol davar machol. Okay, so there's a machlokes when it comes to this idea. If you have 3 people, right? If you have 3 people, most opinions hold in Shulchan Aruch. Most opinions. The Magen Avram, the Ramah, the what do you call them? The Mechaber, all say that you have to have 3 people. You have to have 3 people that ate bread, and then when it comes to 3, all people should have ate bread. There are some say that you can say even if someone ate fruit or something else, that he can join. But that's not the general opinion. The general opinion is 3 people have to make a mezumin that ate bread together. Okay, and when it comes to a zimun of 10, when you have 10 people, so then you can have some people that didn't eat bread and they ate other things. They ate something. They had to eat something in order to be mitzdaref in the zimun, right? You can't just grab a guy that didn't eat anything with you and he can join. They have to eat something. They have to eat something. They eat something, then they can join it. Okay, now Hainu Kenal Kil Inyan Seirav. Ela kibbutz hakodesh yochel itzaref afilu ayedei peiros v'sharei macholim. When you're going to this seiruf hakodesh, when you're going to the 10, so now we can join together other people that ate other things. Ki im bechinas Ki im bechinas halechem hu ikka hasviya v'akiyam hakol mitzaref l'toiva. And of course we know that all macholim, like when we eat bread. Good morning, Yossi. When we eat bread, then whatever else we eat complements the bread, right? If you have bread, and then you eat some vegetables, some proteins, or you're eating some starches or whatever you're eating to go with your bread, it'll all complement the bread. You'll have a nice meal. Ach bezimen sholosh yesh plukta machma she'ein sham adayin ba'ascholas hakibutz ki im shnayim sho'ichlem lechem biyachad roitzim litztarif hashlish lizam b'shloisha ayedei achilas peiros. But then we have that machlokes when we have 2 people, when we're doing a 3. If we're doing with 10, then it's no problem because we said all the other foods then all join together to make the meal a tastier meal. Okay, but when it comes to 3, then we have this issue. And therefore there are some opinions that say we don't join them. If you have the kibbutz that's pachos, that's a small group, who I'll call panim shleisha sheheim bechina shleisha kedusha is le'inyan ziman shalosh. So we said like this. Remember, we said that the 3 are connected to the kadosh, kadosh, kadosh. Right? We said that, right? We have the 3 times the kadosh. Remember, we learned that, right? The zimun, the 3 kadosh, kadosh, kadosh. We have one kadosh. We said is the darei mala. The other kadosh is the darei mata, and the 3rd kadosh is what joins the 2 to get the upper and the lower together. Remember we said that? Mm-hmm. The same way we have the 3 people, right? The upper, the person that has the most learned, he's the one that makes the statement because he's connected to the darei mala. right? And then you have the one that's the middle one that knows more, that knows less than the guy that makes the zimun, but then but there's another fellow that knows less than that person. So the one that knows least at the table, so he's the one that's considered the Darei Mata. Right? The guy that knows the most, he's considered the Darei Mala. He's the upper guy. Then you have the lower guy. And then the middle guy is the one that joins the two together. You understand that? That's the same idea. We learned this concept. I'm just reviewing it, okay? That's the way that works. So when it comes to a three, therefore, we want to have this idea of the Kodesh, Kodesh, Kodesh. We want to have this concept. So therefore, I have to have three people that ate the bread that were equal in the group. Okay, le'inyan zimun shloisha. Okay, aval the kibbutz asara. Oh, but when you're getting 10 people together, yesh kvar ruba the minkar. Right, there are a lot. There's more people that are recognized over here. Shehem shiva oichlei pas. You have to have at least 7 that ate pas. You need to have at least 7 that ate bread. Right, that's the minimum. Right, we just said that before. Right, so in other words, if you have 7 people that ate bread and washed and ate at the same table, they ate the meal together, and then 3 other people came in and they ate a cookie, they ate an apple, they ate whatever they ate at the Suda, whatever they ate from the Suda. They took something, they didn't wash, but they just took something from the Suda. So 3, they can join along. They can join in to the 7. Azai bevadei mitztaref imaim shloisha afilu ayidei peiros me'achar shekvar yesh kibbutz shel shiva oichlei pas. Oh, because now you have 7 that ate bread, so now 3 can join in. Right, 7 that ate bread connected to the 7 Sfira, right? So 3 can join in. And therefore through fruits, or whatever else, you ate rice, or you ate a starch, or you ate a potato, whatever the guy ate, whatever you ate, you can join in. The same way when you wash, all the other foods complement the bread, right? It all complements the bread. So then these guys are like complementing the Suda. Okay, ki al yedei bechinas halimud hakodesh shehu kiyam haTorah shehu bechinas lechem shel Torah al yedei zeh mitztarfim nistaknin kol hamacholim. Okay, so through that you can fix all the foods, all the things, the same way we say all the learning that we do, right? Like we learned yesterday, right? When you learn your Musar, you learn your Likutey Halachos, so whatever you're learning that's inspirational, then you learn all your other limudim during the day. Right, all the other limudim will complement what you learned before and keep you going, and it'll keep you sustained all through the day. V'yesh bahem koyach la'azbias ha'odam ad sheyoyer sham ha'oras ha'rotza and b'yoyse shezeh bechinas birchas haziman ba'asara. So then what's going to happen is those three will benefit by the 7. The 7 benefit by the 3 because now they can say Baruch Elokeinu shechal mishalei, right? So the 7 benefit, but the 3 benefit from the 7 because the 7 are what do you call connected more to the Suda, the bread, the Pnimius HaTorah. So they zen and they both can enjoy. So now we understand the law. In Shulchan Aruch, if 3 people want to make a zimun, so really, you're supposed to have 3 people that ate bread, that washed together, ate together, and then they can definitely make their zimun. It's no problem. But when it comes to a zimun of 10, if you have at least 7 people, that ate bread, 3 people can join, which is different than we said when it comes to a minyan. Minyan, you only need 6 people that prayed, that didn't pray, and then you need 4 people that did. You can join.
3 people will have eaten something.
Something. They got to eat something.
They can't just come from another.
No.
Okay. Not like a minion.
No, not like a minion. No. No, we're just using the example, but no, these people, like we said, if they don't eat anything, they can't join.
Okay.
Because again, if they ate something, so then they can be complementing the bread again.
It doesn't have to be mizunot.
It doesn't have to be, no, you can even eat a fruit. You can eat a potato. Let's say they have a bunch of potatoes or rice or whatever. This is, he sits down, he makes a mezainis, so he makes a...
Drink?
He said, not everyone agrees with a drink. You have to eat something. You have to eat...
If you have 10 people, it's 73, 10 people that ate, There are other people that didn't eat. Did they answer anything when they bench?
They can answer, but they can't. No. If you're sitting there and they say Baruch Hu, you can answer. But you need but to be able to answer, you have to have at least 10 people that ate together.
No, he's saying people that didn't eat, they can
If he's the 11th one or the 12th one, yeah, no problem. Right? There's no
I think if
problem.
there's someone who didn't eat but they're sitting at the table, I think is what they're asking.
But if there are at least 10, if there are 7 people that ate bread and at least 3 people that ate something else at the Suda, then there can be more people that ate nothing. It doesn't matter.
No, but if you have 7 who ate bread,
Yes.
and then there's only 10 at the table, and those 3 didn't eat anything.
Then they
You
can't do that.
say,
Too.
okay.
No, they can't say the other thing. No, you can't do that. No.
You have to eat something.
You have to eat something, right? Okay, we got that. Okay, we got that. Okay, now let's see here something very good in Yana Diyama. Here we go. Okay, now we're going to do Tzadik Gimel again. Reb Nosson is in when he started writing this. It was the 25th day of Elul. Reb Nosson was already in Uman preparing for the kibbutz in the klois in Uman, right? So Reb Nosson is writing things, and he's geared towards Rosh Hashanah because that's the Inyan Diyama. We guess what? We're getting ready for Rosh Hashanah too. So here we go. Tzadik Gimel. V'zeh bechinas minhag Yisrael she'oichlin b'Rosh Hashanah lechem im devash. Oh, how you like that? Right? We're getting ready for that, right? You remember that, right? You have this honey on the table, right? And then you don't just dip your challah into the salt, but now you dip the challah in the salt and into the honey, right?
You dip the challah in the
Salt?
no, in the salt I know, but in the honey, so you can't put the honey on top of the bread like many people do.
No, you always dip. We
Dip it in the honey.
Yeah, that's the way we're supposed to do it. But honey, you can't put on top. Honey, you can't. It's not like the salt. Salt, we said, salt is din, right? Salt is din, right? And the bread, the lechem, is chesed. So you always want to dip the bread into the salt because you want to mitigate the judgment of the which the salt is considered the judgment. So I want to mitigate. So I take the salt, the chesed, and I dip it into the salt. So I sweeten the judgment. Okay.
Right.
But when it comes to honey, you can actually put it on top. Yes, you can. We're gonna see. We'll see.
Okay.
But most people dip it. What do you do? How do you do it? Just you pour it on top, or you dip it in?
No, I dip it.
Dip it. And what do you do, Sasha?
Dip it for myself, but when I give it to everybody else,
Yeah, you pour it on top.
Yeah.
Oh,
See,
okay,
My
all
wife
right.
pours it on top of the bread before she.
Oh, okay.
Your wife touches it?
No.
Oh, whatever. Let's not get it. Let's get involved. Let's not get involved. Okay. Ki ikar achila shel ha'adam sarach shetiyeh rak lechem im melech. Right. We know that our main staple, right, like the Mishnah tells us, a person's supposed to eat bread and salt. That's our main staple. Is that interesting? Right?
So wait,
Kikach-
when we're having a meal like ourselves, should we, like we're doing the pas in the morning,
Yes.
and the learning and the whole thing?
Yeah.
Should we also dip our challah in the salt? before
Yes,
we
sir.
eat?
Yes, sir.
any day,
Tell me that part.
any day, man.
Every time. That's why you have the salt on the table. Why if you have the salt on the table, you got to use it.
No, but Rabbi Kramer says you have the salt every time you eat, no matter what.
I understand, but if it's there, use it.
Okay, well now I'm going to even take an aliyah because I'm not going to do that with the salt too. All right.
Okay. Ki kachi darkei shel Torah pas b'melech teichel. As it says in Perkei Avos in Perek Vav, Mishnah Dalet. Okay, so the Mishnah says that ki darkei shel Torah pas b'melech teichel. If you want to learn Torah, you eat bread with salt. That's what the Mishnah says. Ki be'emes ba'alechem of melech kluyim kol hatamim. Because in the bread with the salt has all tastes are inside there. How do you like that? All tastes are inside there. He's going to explain. V'chol ha'mesikos shel kol ha'peiros v'chol ha'macholim sheba'olam. And all the sweetness and all of the nice tastes that you have in all the other fruits and foods in the world is really hidden inside bread. Did you know that? What?
Wow.
So when your wife makes her nice sourdough breads and challah, it's all inside. You have all the taste is all inside of there, right? Kamavoya le'el mizeh ki lechem shorshay v'chiyusay b'bechinas haramozim shel hadas shu ikar klal kol tuv tam v'das. Remember we say those words by Rosh Hashanah too. Tuv tam v'das lamdeini chukecha, right? Tuv tam v'das. Right before we blow the shofar, right? You're getting ready. I see. Tuv tam v'das lamdeini. Okay, misham tam. Right? Yeah, see that? It's getting okay. Misham tam kol hapeiros. From there you have all the different tastes. Okay, so everything comes. So basically, you have this idea that the bread itself, right? The bread itself has everything in it. A das, right? We said the bread is connected to inspirational Torah, inspiration and motivational. So bread has with it in it all properties that you need. Has everything in it, and you can actually imagine with your das, with your mind, all the different things that we had. We're going to say we have the example in one of the stories of Rabbi Nachman where they didn't have in the house anything else other than bread. So the wife brought him a piece of bread, and he says, "Oh, this soup is so delicious." Right? And then he brought him another one. "Oh, this fish is so delicious." Right? Oh, and then she brought him another slice. "Oh, the steak is amazing." All he had was bread. All he had was bread. Right? Okay, anyway. Because it's our job in this world to limit our desires. Right? That's our job, to limit our desires. This is the what do you call it? The introduction, the Akdama to Likutey Maran Zechrein Levrocha. Noicha levad lekiyam gufeinu b'nemat tavas taveinu. Right, so we should eat what we need in order to sustain ourselves. Right, to sustain ourselves, but we should limit our tavas. Make sense? Mm-hmm. Right? In other words, eat what you need. Eat what you need, and don't go for all the extras. Limit the extras. That's during the week. On Shabbos, you should enjoy your food. Right? When it comes to Shabbos, we want to eat the chol matamim, right? On Shabbos, we want to eat all the nice extra things because we're eating it for the sake of Shabbos. But during the week, we want to limit our indulgence. Okay? Can we say well, maybe that? Okay. We know the Mishnah says there are 48 different ways you can be Kona Torah, and one of them is B'miyah Tanig. One of the ways you can to learn Torah is if you limit your pleasure, right? Limit your pleasure, right? Limit your pleasure in this world on different things. So that means you could do that in any way, right? So if you're eating, let's say you have a piece of cake, right? So don't eat the whole piece of cake. Leave a piece over. Limit your tanig in this world. Limit your tanig. Limit it. Doesn't say no tanig. Limit it, right? B'miyot.
Next of like karbanot.
Yeah.
We learn, I think.
Yeah.
So I want to finish that little last piece. I leave it on.
I leave it away. Right. It's like the what do you call it? We're learning now in Hurries. Anyone that's learning the daf, right? If you're learning the daf, so we're learning this idea. There's different fats that you can eat and different fats that you can't eat, right? Right. There's some fats you can, some that you can't, right? And then if the Bezdin Agadol made a mistake and they said, "Oh, you can eat this," and then they realize, "Oh, we made a mistake," so then they have to bring their par helam dover, right? They have to bring whatever. It's amazing that we're learning Harius now, learning that even the Bezdin Hagadol, these were great tzaddikim. They make mistakes. Could you believe that?
No.
But they make mistakes. Yeah, and there's a protocol and what they do if they realize they made a mistake. Well, it's tshuva goes with everything. This is the time of tshuva. Okay.
Just to validate this, I have to say that when I eat the bread in the morning after learning from here.
Yeah.
I used to couldn't go buy a marcola without going in and buying an ice cream snack of some kind.
Right.
Now it's just like gone. It's like disappeared. I have no desire.
Wow, see that? Amazing. Baruch Hashem.
We're saying about leaving over some of the cake. We better just take a smaller piece in the first place.
No, you better off take a big piece and leave part of it.
Hello.
Not the satiate,
Yeah, okay.
It's always the last piece that I want to finish it.
And you'd say, I'm leaving that over to
So
you.
I want to sleep a little bit more. I want to sleep a little bit more. Another 10 minutes now.
I'm getting up now.
It's a quarter.
Limiting your tanuk. That's all part of limiting the tanuk. Okay, here we go. Because the big tzaddikim, they break their taiva of eating. They just eat, right? The big tzaddikim, they eat because they have to eat. There's nothing to do there. They're human beings, so they have to eat. If you don't eat, you don't live, right? But they don't have any taiva to eat. If you ever watch tzaddikim eat, they'll sit in there with his soup, and they'll mix the soup and mix it, and they'll take one spoon. Right? You ever see that, right? It's like, no, it's like they're like, oh, I have to eat this. Oh yeah, okay, I have to eat it.
But like a tzaddik that's overweight,
Yeah.
he still could have broken his time for food.
Yeah.
He'd be overweight because he's eating the food to like fix it.
Whatever. Yes, yeah, you're good. Yeah, okay.
No, you're right. Like a Rosh Steinman or somebody that you see that they're frail. I mean, you're right. They do that and they don't eat much and shows in their physique.
Right.
But others they have a grace of life, but but again, it's a fair point. Just because we're in the world of physicality, so they have no choice.
There's another piece of this I'm thinking, because they all tell you, all the dietitians say, eat vegetables and green and all this stuff, but if you eat bread the way we're supposed to, it takes care of all of the stuff
All
inside
the
our
other
body.
stuff. Yeah. Okay. ובפרט גדולי מבחורי הצדיקים ששיברו טייבס אכילה בתכלס עד שזוכו שלא ינהנו מאכילוסם אפילו כחוט השערה. Right? Some tzaddikim broke their taiva so much that they don't even enjoy they have no enjoyment from it. They just eat it. They just eat it for the sake of eating it. Rak zochu lebechinas tzadikei oichlei l'svaya nafshay. They zoicha to the idea that their eating is seveya their nefesh. Right? They're eating, when the tzaddik eats, it's satiating his nefesh. Because we said, lo yal alechem levada yichya adam, ki al maitza pi Hashem yichya adam. Right? The pasuk in Ekev says, right? In other words, they are eating because they want to make the bracha. You can't make the bracha birchas nenin, right? You can't make birchas nenin, the brachas that pertain to eating and enjoyment, unless you eat something, right? You can't make the bracha. So they want to make the bracha. That's what it means. Sadik oichel is seveya nafshe. He's eating to be seveya his nefesh elikus.
But don't they have to eat anyway? Because after you daven and then learn, you have to have is that part of halacha?
No. They'll do that. But again, they're not enjoying it. It's not doing it for the enjoyment.
They do it to take care of their body.
Right. Bebechinas ve'esbia betzachtzachos nafshecha. Tzachzacha means he's very, very pure. Right, tzachtzachos means to polish. It's very, 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 very polished and pure. Right. Okay. Now he says Ashrei lahem kemuvan b'Torah tiku beis in Likutey Moran in Hay. So that's wonderful for these tzaddikim. Right. It's wonderful that they're able to accomplish this thing, and they remove themselves from worldly pleasure. Right. They remove themselves from worldly pleasure because they realize what's important. And they invest their time and everything in what they believe and know is to be true. And therefore they can live their lives and have a good life, eating their bread and their water, right? כמו שכתוב בספר סיפורי מייסיס במייסה של היום שני בעניין החרש שהיה חי חיים טובים על ידי שהיה אוכל לחם ומים. Right, on day 2, right, in the 7 beggars, right? On day 2, you had the deaf one, right? the Cherush, he was the deaf one. He lived a very, very good life, and all he did was he ate his bread and his water.
So when I said that someone said there's a diet where you can have bread only, there really is something to that.
Again, let's stick with the program here.
But
Okay? I don't know.
it is
These guys come up with these diets. Just forget about it.
No, but this happens to fit with the Ratzon of Hashem based on what you're saying, because you could have bread and water alone, and you.
No, but no. Well, no. But you also need other things also. Like you need to learn other parts of Torah also. You have to also learn Gemara. You have to also learn Halacha. You have to learn Mishnah.
Right. Well, you have to learn while you're eating anyway, too.
Yeah. Okay. Aval gam shorei hakishorim haroitzim leilech b'derech haTorah tzrichim al kol panim lahargel atzmam leleches bikvosam. So if we want to go in the way of Torah, we have to follow along on their heels. Right, we have to follow along on their coattails, I guess you could say, right? Right, we want to follow along the tzrikim. Al kol panim tzrichim lemayit ba'achilas haperes b'shar ma'achol. So let us limit how much fruits we eat and all the other things that we eat for enjoyment. Let's try to limit a little bit, a little. Okay. V'ike ma'acholoi. Again, this is the Mishnah. This is not Rav Noson's idea. Right, the Mishnah in Pirkei Avos, right? That's accepted by all. Everyone agrees with Pirkei Avos, right? It's not Chasidus. That's the okay. And the Mishnah in Pirkei Avos, Mishnah in Perek Vav, okay, it says that you should eat pas b'melach. Ki be'emes yechaylin lahargish ba'lechem tam kol ma'cholim sheklulim by. Because really, how does it work? Because really, you can imagine eating all the different things that you want while you're eating your bread. Maybe you try it one time, eating your bread, and try to imagine other things while you're eating your bread. Try to imagine your ice cream. Try to imagine all the things that you eat while you're eating your bread. Maybe you can do it. Try.
Well, it's like the manna in the desert.
That's exactly. Yesh shemes angim me'achilas lechem u'mayim yoyse me'asorim she'oichlim adanim acholim. So sometimes you have very good people, people that are very fit, right? They're big people, very healthy people, strong people, and these are people that are eating bread, right? They're big, strong people, and they're eating bread. You have these other fancy people, the sorim, right? You have the fancy officers and higher. These guys are more scrawny people because why? They're just eating their fancy things. They're not eating their bread. They're eating their sushi and they're eating their fruits and they're eating their things and they're eating whatever they're eating. Right? So these guys are more scrawny. The other guys, they have a lot more stamina. They have a lot more strength than these other guys. Right? Mikol shekei b'kedushas Yisrael v'Torah. See, Rav Noson's trying to show you that you can eat bread and you can be more healthy and you can be more fit.
And a prince who has the finest food.
The finest foods, and he's right. Yeah. Right. So the world today says everyone has to be very skinny and very thin, and that's great. But Torah doesn't necessarily say that. Right? The Torah doesn't necessarily say that. He just said that the guys that are fit are the guys that are a little more stocky. Isn't that what he said? Right? Okay, sheyicholim lahargil atzmai lahachiyos es atzmai belechem amayim ad sheyargish kol ha'ta'amim. He can feel all the different tastes. Kamei shemuvim b'maisa shel hachacham v'atav. You have the maisa with the chacham and the tam that I was telling you before. Shal kol machal sherotza le'echol tziva la'avi lo yichatichas lechem. Each thing he wanted to eat something else. He wanted to taste something else. Oh, bring me another piece of bread. And as he got another piece of bread, he was able to imagine what he was eating. And again, it's such a beautiful idea that you can eat a piece of bread and imagine all the other things. I mean, I don't know if the chefs are going to like this, and the baker will like this, but I don't know if the chefs are going to like this, right? Okay. And he was praising the food. Wow, this steak is so amazing. As if he ate it, and all he had was a piece of bread. It's fascinating, okay? Because the truth, You have in the bread, you have all different tastes, or everything is found in there. Im yirtza, if you want to taste it. Im yirtza. You like that? If you want to do this. If you don't want to, you say, I don't know, this is silly. I want to eat what I like to eat, and I don't know what this rabbi's talking about here. But if you want to taste it, try it, you can.
But the want is, it's not like, oh, I want it to taste like ice cream. It's like, well, I really want. I mean, you have to really work on your want.
You have to want
have
it, exactly.
Divine on it.
Yuchel lahargish by kol ha'tamim shel kol ha'peres. If you really want, you can have your bread and you can really eat all. You can have your bread and have your cake and eat it at once. Yeah, all together. Yeah, you go. V'chein muva b'zayir hakadosh shvias ha'adam toli b'ritzaynai. And the Zohar says that your food and your seveya, your satiation of food is based on your ratzon. The Zohar is saying this. It's based on your ratzon. You're going to be satiated based on your ratzon. Kamay Chisa Sham, Vireusa the Savia, Shave Alohi, right? That your ratzon, when you're eating, is how you're going to get your satiation. So if you're eating and you realize you want to be filled via this food, and so you should keep you sustained and so on, the food can have a better. And he's going to give an example now also. Watch this. Okay. The time of the food is based on your rotzah, right? Im yitza listapek belechem. If you're okay with being with just having bread, if that's what you said in your mind, yuchel lahargish by kol ta'amim sheyirtza. If you're okay with that, and you stop it, if a person is okay, he sets up in his mind that he's okay with eating bread, he'll be able to then say have the same enjoyment of all the other foods. The Torah was only given to those that ate the man. Right? It says, right? We know that, right? It's in the Mechilt. Okay, Mechilt and Bishal. Okay. Ki aman haya by kol ha'ta'amim sheroitza adam. Because in the man had all the tastes. That's where we're getting this idea from. Right? Man had whatever taste you wanted, you were able to taste it. Right? In the Kedushas Levi has a beautiful vart on that. He said we cried to Moshe Rabbeinu in the desert. We said we want to taste meat. We want to taste meat. So wait a second. Hey, you ate meat. You knew what meat tastes like. What do you mean you want to taste meat? So the only Kedushas Levi can come up with this. He says, you know why they were complaining? They knew what the taste of non-kosher meat was. They wanted to know the taste now of kosher meat. Only the Kedushas Levi can come up with that, right? So you were able to imagine anything that it tastes. You were able to imagine while you ate your man, anything that you knew what it tasted like. So if you ate a chocolate ice cream, and then you were eating your man, and you remember the taste, that you were able to get that taste out of that chocolate ice cream, rather than that man.
It's only if you knew what it tasted like.
If you knew what it tasted like.
If I never had ice cream, I couldn't imagine.
You couldn't imagine.
You would have had to have had ice cream.
Right.
But that seems...
And that's what they were complaining about, their cucumbers and their things.
At least they did have a variety of taste. They felt like a mensch, you know?
Yeah. They ate all those things in Mitzrayim, right? But the only thing that was different was the meat, because now in Mitzrayim they didn't have slaughtered meat, they didn't traber their meat, they didn't salt their meat, they didn't have to do all of that. Right? But now we want to taste, what does kosher meat taste like?
So Slav is kosher.
Oh,
they
ate. It was coming out of that.
Literally coming out of there. This everything here, Rav Nachman spoke about, meaning yes, these are the halachos.
Based on this halacha, hey. There's this Torah hey in Tinyon.
That's right. There are conversations that Rav Nachman had with Rav Nassan and the guys around him about this type of stuff. Like, hey, you know, the bread is so important, and this is the reason why. And if you bite into it, Shulchan Aruch doesn't talk about eating it and letting it taste like everything else. That's a hekesh that Rav Nachman makes. Or Rav Nassan puts.
No, he's learning it from man. He's learning it from the man, the same way the man.
The same way the man. He brings that over to the bread. No one said anything about bread. Who said anything about bread? You're right. The man, when I lived in the midbar, that's what it was like. He's the first guy that I'm aware of that comes and says it's for the bread also. That's fine.
Yeah.
But this is Rav Nachman said this. This is like a conversation that he had. And then Rav Nachman was like, hey, I'm going to put together this Halachos.
Yes, over Shabbos, take out Likutey Moran, learn Halacha Hey. You'll see what he said about it.
But even
Torah Hey and Tinyana.
Yeah,
he's talking about this idea about eating. Prosper melech toicha. Yeah.
But again, so these are things that he heard in conversation.
No. Again, we're learning this based on the Mishnah also, Mishnah and Vav, right? Pas v'melech toicha, right? Right. If you want to have Torah, right? If you want to, and we said that in the 48 ways you can be Kohen Torah, you have to be Memayit your Tanit.
Yes.
Right. So he's taking all these things and putting it together.
Yes, I get that algorithm. I'm just saying, did that come from Rav Nachman?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Well,
Based on Torah Hey and Tinyana.
The bread is.
Well, hold on. I let's say Torah Hey. Okay, so Rav Nachman's sitting there, and Rav Nachman delivers Torah Hey. Okay, which you're correct. Like anyone that's here should probably look at. And then he says, okay, I have to go write this Halacha Sefer. So he writes this. We spoke about a little bit how he does it, but does he take Torah Hey and deduce all this himself?
Yes, he extrapolates it. Yeah, he extrapolates from the Torah, and he comes up. This is what Rabbi Nachman told him to do: take the Torah, take Likutey Moran, and plug it into different in Halachos and Shulchan Aruch.
And Rav Nachman saw his finish.
He didn't see the whole Likutey Halachos; he saw parts of it.
Okay, and the parts that he saw,
he approved of. Yes, he approved of.
Because he got the right idea.
Yeah, that's
you're right.
you're on the right way.
I might not have uttered these exact words, but this is what I was trying to say.
Right.
This is the message.
Right. And then we said that now we're in Halacha Vav. So each time when Rav Nassim was going through Shulchan Aruch and he was writing, so that first time he did that, he did Halacha Aleph. Then he went again, he did Halacha Beis. Then he did again, he went and did Halacha Gimel. And another shulchan they did halacha Hey and Vav and so on. And now we came to Vav. This was the 6th time around.
I'm not sure I understood what your question was.
Oh, it doesn't matter. Can we finish? Let's go. Aval kefi hamuvan ba'Torah hu gam oz haya lahem bechira b'ritzaynam al zeh. But they still had bechira. These guys that were in the midbar, they had bechira. Do they want to taste this? Do they want to taste all the things from the bread, from the man that they're eating, or they don't want to? Ki harashoyim shebizu es haman. Because there were some guys in the desert, right, like the Erev Rav, they were making fun of this man. They go, what is this stuff? Like, what is this? They didn't want to taste all the taste that you could taste out of the man. Right? They said, this is this awful bread, this awful thing that you call bread. What is this stuff? Why do I got to keep eating this stuff? What is this stuff? They were complaining. Another pasuk in Ekev, right? You were hungry and tired, whatever, and you ate. I gave you the man that you didn't know what it was. By hamachilcha man b'midbar, I gave you man to eat in the midbar lemana naisa, in order to test you. What does a naisa mean? To test you, right? Right? Leman nasaischa. In other words, I want to test you. V'chein ksiv hini mamti lachem lechem in hashmayim leman senu hahelech b'tayrasi im loy. I'm giving you this man to test you. Are you going to follow my Torah or not? In other words, are you going to believe in what I'm telling you here, or are you not going to follow, or you're not going to believe in it? The whole idea of eating the man was in the sign. So too, eating bread is in the sign for us. It's a test. Am I going to see, am I going to recognize when I'm eating my bread, wow, Hashem, you gave me this bread. The same way Hashem gave them the man, Hashem gives me my bread. It's the same thing.
What's the nisayon of the man that what? That you gave it to me, of course. Can I wake up and...
No, but am I going to appreciate it? Am I going to appreciate that Hashem gave me this man?
Instead, I would appreciate more the cucumbers
Yeah, but Hashem could have sent every morning a salad. You know, it didn't have to be man, right? Kodesh could have sent, you know, an airplane meal, right? You know, rain down there. What's the problem, Yossi? Well, you don't think Hashem could have done that? He can give them a microwave too to warm it up. I mean, he could have done that.
It's like they were getting a pretty good deal. They were getting free food.
Yeah,
and it was fresh.
and their food. Yossi, it was great. They didn't have to spend money. Their shoes didn't wear out. Come on, Yossi.
It was a great deal. It was.
You can figure out every month how much you were saving. Yossi, how much you spent to buy shoes for your kids?
It's true. It's true.
And then their clothes warm up, and they have to wear them. And they didn't have to do laundry. They have to pay for the water. They didn't have to pay for the gas, for the dry. Come on, Yossi.
People wanted it harder, kind of. It's like a strange.
Well, whatever. The Torah says it was in the Siyat. The Torah says that. Right?
Of course, he saw him because they rebelled in the end.
Yeah.
But also from eating the man, they didn't have to go to the shirutim.
They didn't have to go to the bathroom, right? They didn't need to use the bathroom because there was no waste. It was spiritual.
No waste.
It was
All
spiritual
spiritual
food, so it was all gained, right? The same way when we eat our bread, if we eat our food the right way, all the nutrients get delivered to the body. Of course, we're still going to have waste, but maybe a little less. Yeah. Okay. V'inyan shamra b'seinu skon l'bracha al zeh she'enei doime roya v'oichel le'enei roya v'oichel. How about this? Chazal tell us something else. If you eat something and you see the food, it's different than if you eat it and you didn't see it. Isn't that interesting? Right? If you see the food, right? You see it, it's going to be a different experience than if you didn't see it.
Because of your imagination.
One second. Oh, those guys said, okay, it tastes like this, but hey, I want to see the ice cream. I want to see that chocolate cake. I want to see my cucumbers. I want to see it. They wanted all the food set up there in front of them so they could eat it. In other words, this way you weren't able to see what you were eating. It was only in the imagination. You had to imagine what it was. But they're saying, wait a second, I would like to see all the colors and all the nice, already have nice red tomatoes, orange tomatoes, and whatever, all the different colors, and then you want to see the peppers, and you want to see all the different things. They didn't want to eat the man and so to say bypass this idea that they don't need to see it. They wanted to be able to see it. Because they didn't want to taste it, all the different things, they certainly couldn't. You understand that, Yossi? You know, the man worked. If you wanted to imagine what it was, it worked. Yeah. The same way when you eat your bread. Now, if you eat your bread, you can get so much benefit from eating your bread if you want to. If you don't want to, you won't. The same way in the man. When they ate the man, if they didn't want to, they didn't benefit by the man. Therefore they made fun of it. V'chotu bazeh harbe shezehu hachet shel hamesoidinim hamevakshim ta'ana. Right? They wanted their answer. Lifroish min hamokaim from Hashem shal yedei zeh meisu harbe v'koru lamokaim ahu kivras tava. They called that place Kivras Tava. Right? Remember when the Slav came, they called it that was the burial place of the Taiva. Kivras Taiva, right? Kisham Kovru Esa'am Hamisainim, those people that, Hamisavim, okay. Aval Gam Ata Nase Bazeh Harbe Eitza Kolodam Roitze Lele Bedarka Shel Torah. Right, but now Eitzel Kol Adam Haroitze Lele Bedarka Shel Torah. You can accomplish so much if you want to go in the way of Torah and realize the benefit of eating your Pas Shachris. And how that can really benefit you from the entire day. Therefore, when you're making the bracha hamaitzi, tzrichin lidbol prusas hamaitzi bamelach Therefore, we have to dip it into the salt. And we said lechem is the gematria is 78, right? We said that 78 and 26 times 3 is 78, right? So when you dip your bread into the salt 3 times, you say that's Yud Kei Vav Kei 26, Yud Kei Vav Kei, Shem of Chesed, right? You're bringing the Chesed because I dip my bread in the salt 3 times. That's how I reveal that Hashem is in there, right? We learned that, right? Lipo b'prusas b'moitzi daika ki ze ikar achila v'asviya. That is the main food and staple that a person needs, v'sham hatamim, and that's all the taste. So now we learned something special that really bread has such value to it. The same way learning Torah, and you learn Torah, that you're learning something that's going to be inspirational and motivational, which will be able to satiate you during the day spiritually, so you'll be able to recognize Hashem and recognize Shivisi Hashem L'negdi Summit, right?
I could almost understand why people had such a line on Breslov and on these ideas, because it's almost like, look, here I am trying to just live in the world, okay?
And I like going to the restaurant.
I want to go to, and guess what? Today they have now restaurant. Ki'ilu like you're eating a cheeseburger. Ki'ilu like you're eating all this. It's all within Halachos.
Yes.
And everything's fine. And I'm starting to make more money now, and I get to be able to do these certain things, and I get to feel like I'm a prince. And then you, little Nachman, you come along and you tell me it's all fake and it's a fraud, and you're not really accomplishing what you think you're accomplishing, and all you really need is a simple piece of bread, which even the pauper can get.
But the Mishnah Pirkei Avos wrote that. Yes, he did. It's not his idea.
No,
why are you blaming Rabbi Nach? He
brought it out.
And we're learning Hilchos Netilas Yadayim L'Suda. So we're learning all the things about a Suda. Yeah. And what constitutes a Suda? Bread. They're showing you the great value of bread.
Sudas every time it's okay. Go to a wedding. It's a Suda if you want to call it that.
It is a Suda's mitzvah.
Fine. But he's talking about making a Suda like every day.
No, the Shulchan Aruch says you're supposed to eat in the morning pas shachris.
Right.
It's a mitzvah.
Right. That's right.
That's why there's so much opposition against it.
He brought what he does in the Likutey Halachos is bring out so much more mussar. It's not just about eating bread in the morning, which is a kiddush in its own right, especially in today's day and age.
But that's what Shulchan Aruch said.
I know what it says, but I know. But you brought it to, hey, eating of bread is really the sustaining of everything, and that's all you're really needing from eating just the bread. I'm just saying, if I'm a guy and I work myself up where I can have steak and sushi, and that's what I'm eating, and then you come along and tell me I'm a simple guy with just my little piece of bread.
No, he's saying you don't have to do that.
I know that.
Okay.
I know that. Listen, I just came back from one of your old stomping grounds. Okay? And we have it here too, but mamish, every different kind of restaurant foods. These people, again, they love food. Love food and different kinds and different tastes, and I mean,
the Yetzer Hara is doing great, and we learned all about his Chelo Yosef. He has all his guys. These are all those.
According to this,
there's
something very off. There's something off.
No, but you can go to the restaurant and have a piece of bread in the restaurant and have your and eat your vegetables and your steak.
Going to the restaurant and having a piece of bread and eat.
No, but wash.
Jimmy, stop. I'm just telling you that they're okay. The Chinese and this type of food and the taco and this. Can you theoretically get a piece of it? I'm gonna argue that some guy doesn't.
But make it into a soda. So make it into a
nice idea. I'm just telling you that for my own self, we're off in terms of the emphasis that we put.
Yes, we're off. That's the point. So
you can look around and see the emphasis that's put on the many different kinds.
I understand.
Of rest and food.
Right, but that's our. But again, like he said, that's our bechira. This is our bechira. The same way we had the bechira when it came to the mun, and we said, no, I'm not going to taste this because I want to see it. I want this. I want that. So too today. I'm not interested in the bread to taste all these nice things in the bread. He said, if you want to taste it, you can. If you don't want to, then don't.
The real danger is that their children will see them eating a hamburger with that yellow stuff on it. And 5 years later, when they're with other kids, they're going to eat a cheeseburger because they saw their fathers eating it. It looked like they were eating it. It looked like cheeseburger. It wasn't a cheeseburger. Mm-hmm. But they're going to see a cheeseburger later on, and they're going to eat it. And direction they're going to go.
It's the
I mean,
Yetzer
no,
Hara.
there is something interesting within food.
You
You have a point where there's a real again. It's kosher, legamre.
Yossi. If that was in the time of Chazal, they came up with this fake meat and fake cheese and all of that. They would have said that's also because of Maris Ayin. You can't do that because Maris Ayin. You can't do that.
Right.
Like he was just like David was saying,
right.
because again, the kids are going to get the wrong understanding. They're not going to learn the Inyan. There's a cheese. This is cheese and meat. But they didn't realize that that's not meat and that's not cheese, right? But they see it looks like meat, right? This looks good. It looks good. That's what what does the Satan do? He makes everything look enticing.
Right. What I'm saying is the looks have infiltrated
Right.
the Torah from world.
Right, and we just said the guys that are a little bit stockier are healthier guys, and they won't be knocked over that easy.
Right.
And the other scrawny guy, these are the big princes, and then these are the guys eating their whatever. They're eating their fancy stuff.
Eating their fancier food.
They're eating their escargot and they're all that other garbage, and then they're scrawny little.
Whose kids are you going to bet on?
Yeah, it's an interesting.
That's
I mean,
all.
there almost needs to be a modern day Likutey Halachos written, like to call out Central Avenue or.
We're not
this idea-
calling it out.
No.
He's just he's
I know.
giving us he's giving you the tools. So when you go on Central, you know, hey, wait a second, I know this is sheker, and this is what I want.
Right.
You learn what to use to do. It's again bechir. It's all in the mind.
I don't know if you said in here, but it also says
Can we do
those who sought an excuse to abandon God. If you don't eat the manna and vision it, and you want something else, that's an excuse to abandon God. He called it the grave of lust.
Yes, it's all about lust. That's it. That's what it is. They want that lust, right? Yeah.
One more point.
Yeah.
We were saying that the Igar Achila is lechem b'melech.
Yeah.
It's the same letters, lechem and melech.
Yes, it is
exactly
the same. Yeah.
letters. Anything
Yeah.
about that? You can say. Maybe.
No, Melach is not the same letters.
Same way. Mem lamed
Milk,
chet.
salt, and bread is the same way.
Exactly the same letters.
Okay, all right. So I don't know. I didn't see anything on that, but we'll think about that. That's beautiful. Okay. Melach, right? Chaf.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you eat bread, you're
No, but lechem is with a ches.
Chet.
Huh?
Ches, yeah, ches.
A ches.
Melechos.
Malach is also
A melech is with a ches.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, okay, we'll see. Okay,
When you
let's
eat crumb, you're eating like a king.
learn halacha and kids shulchan aruch. Okay, here we go. Din nimsa. We're learning. We're in Siman Chav Dalet 24. What happens if you find the psul
Just mem
in the
jumps-
Sefer Torah? What?
Just mem jumps over.
Yeah, it jumps
From
over.
the-
Okay.
From beginning to the end. So
Okay. Where are we up to today, guys? 6. We're up to 6. Okay, here we go. Okay, so yesterday we were learning about this idea. If you have a letter that it's full, the letter it has the 4, but you're not sure if the letter is kosher or not. So we said we bring in a child, and we ask the child to see if there's a child recognize the letter, and can he make the Sefer Torah either kosher or pasul, right? Based on what the child says. Now we're going to see, what do you do when you have the child? What do we do? Okay, Shemar and Latina, right? So when you have that situation that you don't know, and you're showing to the children, to a child, Ein tzrichin l'chasa, he says, ha'oisei shel achrav. So you don't put a paper over the words after the letter that's in question. Okay? But the letters before this letter, you do cover. Why is that? Because the letters before you may make the word. They'll see what the word is. And then they'll see. So if you'll cover the letters before, so then you just have that letter. You don't know what the word is. Right? And let's say your question is that there's a hole. Right? We're talking about the idea that the Sifrei Torah sometimes got holes in them. They got a hole in them because there were mice or whatever different things, or maybe it got pitted. I don't know. It was an old parchment. It got pitted. V'nisha miksosai gam min hanekev ulamata, and it was left over. It was left over from the hole, something from beneath. There was a piece of the letter left over from the. I mean, it's so sad to think about that. The Sifrei Torah, that there was a hole in the Torah, and then we're trying to figure out the letter. Was it from the bottom? Was it from the top? Unbelievable. And now we're questioning from the hole to the letter, do I have the right shear of the letter? In other words, is the right font size? In other words, the letters on the Torah, right? They're all there's a whatever we'll call it, the size of the font. Okay, we understand that, right? Font, right? The letter itself, right? So in other words, do I have enough, based on the font, do I have enough of the letter left? What?
Yud, Vav, and Nun Sofit.
Yeah.
There's a hole.
Yeah.
Say, is the Nun Sofit short enough that it can be considered a Vav and it's possible, or is it long enough?
Or is it long enough? Exactly. No, but he's saying, yeah. So cover up the part that's on the bottom, that's from the hole. Ki atinuk gets starful because the tinuk will join the two together. In other words, you understand? In other words, if there's a hole in the letter, so you have to cover up the bottom part of it, right? On the other line, on the next line, you have to cover up the bottom part because otherwise the child will join the two pieces together. Uvemis ain light seiriv. Yeah, you like that, yeah. And uvemis, that's not right.
Then it looks like a yud. It's not.
No. Be'emes ain light seiriv. It doesn't connect. It doesn't connect. V'chein im kofsa hadiyoi mixas oisai. And what happens if the letter flaked off, right? The kofsa, right? The kofsa, it not rubbed off, it flaked off, whatever. It wasn't a good quality ink, right? Sometimes they didn't have such a good quality ink, and then the letter just popped off, right? A piece of the letter popped off the parchment. V'nisha sham ezer roishim, but there's still a roishim. There's still the outline. Right? There's still the outline from it. In other words, the middle of it popped off, but there's still an outline from it. You have to cover over the other parts that he shouldn't join it together, because if he does, then he sees the outline of the letter. But if it's just an outline, it's not really a letter. And then it's not really good. And it's just sad that we have to deal with these things. But okay, these are things, Baruch Hashem, today I don't think we have to deal with them as much.
So if he can't read the word with that covered, then it's puzzle.
Yes.
But if he could read the word, even though that part's covered, it wouldn't be puzzle.
It wouldn't be puzzle, right.
Depends on if the kid...
The letter. Yeah.
It's part of the word.
Yeah. These are, listen, okay, but Baruch Hashem, today, we don't really have these problems. Baruch Hashem, our Sifrei Torah are much higher quality right now, and our ink is much better than they used to have it, because I don't think we have it today that the ink is popping off the things, because I think the quality of everything is so much higher than we had before. And even the parchment, the quality of parchment today is much better. They're able to finish the parchment better. You want to say something, David?
As I said, maybe that's why you don't want a kid who's too bright, because he could guess.
We said that yesterday.
Yeah,
you need a child that doesn't understand. That doesn't understand that he's making the decision.
Right.
You need a child just a child, maybe a 5-6-year-old kid that's in the gun and he's learning the letters. He doesn't understand Sefer Torah, missing a letter. He doesn't understand. You call him over. Hey, what is this letter? What do you see here? You don't even say what is letter.
Word?
No, letter. We're dealing with a letter, not a word. No, a letter. Yeah. And if he can identify the letters, so then we say it's okay. Listen, either way, they're going to want to fix it later on. Here we're just saying in the case we can ask the child, but if the person is misupik by himself, he doesn't know himself, then he can ask the child. But if you know yourself that this is no good, asking the child is not going to help anything. We learned that yesterday, right? Okay, so Mitzvah Hashem, HaKadosh Baruch Hu will help us that all our Sifrei Torah will be nice and we won't come up with these problems, okay? Everyone should have a wonderful Shabbos and thank you, Kol Tov.